Right. I think it's time for a check-in on my progress with the infinite money and ammo scheme, because I'm also simultaneously working on the first flag until the cows come home. And I've reached a similar point with each in that it seems as if just sending commands through the proxy is not going to get me what I want. So, after the last time, of course, I think where I left off with the last video is I had right here, I had recorded a transaction between my player and the gun shop owner NPC, and I was able to essentially um, convince the server, right, that the transaction had occurred without activating that NPC. So, I mean, that's nice. Um, but I wasn't able to do any of the things that I had, wanted to try. Uh, it seems as if there is some kind of server-side validation even when you're sending this command. So if I try to if I try to sell more bullets than I have, it doesn't work. If I try to sell 0 bullets, it doesn't work. If I try to send the transaction without any bullets at all, just no sale, just transaction occurred, give me money, that didn't work either. So it seems as if there's something happening on the server side that I just haven't figured out quite yet. So then after that, my second plan was to record a item drop and pickup, and that's what you see here. So this is me. I went back down into the tunnels, so this 6D76 is my client reporting my location, my player's location to the server. These are fireballs, and if I send this string to the server through the proxy, it does in fact cause my player object to trigger a fireball spell, so it spits out without me clicking the mouse. So what I'm getting at is that some of these do work, it's just that there's some other process going on here that I'm not familiar with. So I got the drop, and the drop, as you can see here, interpreted by the parser, white drop is what it's called when a mob drops some treasure. This is the location, which is included on that because it's essentially spawning a new object, this white drop object. And then there's a pickup, right? And this is the object. And I also recorded this in Wireshark at the same time, by the way, just so I could be sure that I missed absolutely nothing, and I didn't. So that string right there that you see there, the 6565, that is indeed the item drop string. And if I send that to the server, nothing happens. If I send the response from the server, which is what you see here, so this is the server sends back to the client, okay, you picked up something, and in this case it was 12 coins. You can see here's the interpretation of that into ASCII, which is one other thing I wanted to point out. Anyway, if I send this from the proxy to the client does indeed think that I have picked up some coins, and it will change the number of coins that's displayed in the client. But again, because none of this is happening in the client unless we're in offline mode, it's all on the server side as far as our coin count and validation. So that's simply not going to do it. It basically only changes the number of coins that are displayed, not the number of coins I actually have. So, I was kind of in between ideas here, trying to figure out what I might do next. And I think that what we're actually at the point of is, rather than relying on the information that's being sent from the client to the server via these hex strings, which is quite powerful, and was able to work out, and it looks like I wasn't the first one to work it out. I was just looking at our scripts here, parser script, and I was looking at this for the Until the Cows Come Home videos, when I noticed a couple of things. First of all, if you watch that video, you'll see that I realized that there's this hinit, which actually refers to actor instantiation. So when objects are spawned in the game world, it reports their location. So it makes that quest a lot easier. But then I was also trying to figure out, because I mean, obviously there's some rhyme or reason to these hex strings. Every time my location's reported, it's 6D76. When there's an item drop, I'm sorry, when there's a fireball, 2B, 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 2B here, and then 6565 for the item pickup, and then 6370 from the client. These prefixes mean something in terms of how they're interpreted. And yeah, I did actually see this down here, and then I noticed that, for example, right here, H position. So these would be the prefixes for the different conversations, I guess, happening between the client and the server that Live Overflow was able to figure out and put into the script. So that's nice. That's something like I said in my video on Until the Cows Come Home, I kind of feel like I cheated myself a little bit. I'm not above using something that's already been done by any means, and all of you should certainly feel free to use whatever you find. But I was, I try to make it a little bit more challenging for myself, and then eventually give up and go and look if I can't figure it out. But that's okay. This is great. It gives us a good advantage here. Makes things a little bit easier for us, and I suppose I won't turn my nose up at that. But since we can't simply send the commands back and forth to the server to replicate that behavior for some reason, I can either try to work out what that reason is, because practically speaking, if it's being sent from the proxy to the server should see that as if it's happened in the client. And yet, if I, let's say for example here, if I go ahead and send this, all right, so hey server, oops. And I've got the location thing running again, so there it gets queued up in the server's queue, but I don't receive any coins. And then I thought, well, maybe that's just the server isn't sending a response for some reason. What I'm getting at is there's certainly more to this process than I'm seeing right now. So either I can try and figure out what that process is, or alternatively, I can see if there's another way I may be able to trigger this. I haven't really quite decided on a path, but I did figure out for the Until the Cows Come Home video that it looks like we're probably, like, if I try to send just these locations. When I recorded this, I was down in the sewers. So I also can't simply tell the server what my location is and teleport there. That simply doesn't work. You can see it generates an error there. So, and the client clearly shows, I am still where I was. I haven't teleported to the sewers where I was, where that location actually is. So, yeah, there's definitely something more going on. Okay, so since I can't do that, I'm going to need to figure out a way to do things like teleport or alter my speed, and that's going to require doing some code injection. And so this is just an update to let you know as far as the process for infinite ammo and money goes. That's where I'm at. I'm probably gonna have to work on code injection anyway for the other quests, so that's what we'll do next. So if you want to see how to do that, you'll need to watch the series on Until the Cows Come Home, because the next part will have to be after that, because I need to figure that out before I figure this out. So, all right, that's it. See you on the next one.